Yunhua is a university in the city of Zhejiang, a junior college belonging to the second tier in the country. In a room in the boys' dormitory at the University of Yunhua, Yue Zhong is taking a look at his clothing in the mirror to finish dressing. Yue Zhong, while finished dressing, quietly thought, "What kind of trouble will that little mischievous devil give me today?" Today is Sunday. In the room, there are 6 metal frame beds, but only Yue Zhong was there. The other roommates were out having fun for the weekend. Yue Zhong was preparing to go out to work as a tutor, to earn his living expenses. "You mortals that look like ants, I am God. I hate to look at you weak humans living a quiet and peaceful life. From now on, I will put you all into the God and demon system. Struggle. Struggle hard, become stronger, and use it to please me. Only continuously becoming stronger will you be able to survive. Otherwise, you will die. Now, the countdown begins. 5." A strange sound suddenly appeared in Yue Zhong's mind. As the sound appeared, his eyes froze, he felt as if time froze. The entire surroundings also became extremely slow, as if time had stopped. In his mind, he only heard the sound. 4. 1. The game officially begins. All of you ants, struggle to survive. Following the end of the sound, Yue Zhong was liberated from his bizarre state. What is this? On the inside, Yue Zhong was filled with astonishment, and he stared at the meter-long stick in his hand, which appeared out of nowhere. It made him realize what he had just heard was not a hallucination. Novice staff, new equipment. Novice level weapon. Attack of 0 to 5, durability 100/100. Please make good use of this weapon to survive. Yue Zhong, male. Level 1. Occupation, none. Title, none. Strength, 9, 10. Agility, 10, 10. Vitality, 9, 10. Stamina, 8/8, 10. Spirit, 12, 10. Endurance, 10, 10. Yue Zhong's mind was amazed. Strange info like this flowed directly into his head. Looking at the stick in his hand, a sense of foreboding welled up in Yue Zhong's mind, so he rushed towards the dormitory door to lock it up. He then quickly opened a roommate's closet and took out binoculars. The opposite dorm facing Yue Zhong's was the girls' dorm, so quite a few of the boys in the dorms bought binoculars to peek at the girls. Yue Zhong, with one hand holding the staff, walked towards the window, looking outside. Right now it is about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so the students that did not go out were sleeping in the dorm. Very few people were out. Save me! A shrill scream rang out in the street. Yue Zhong looked towards the direction of the scream, and saw a scene of horror. He saw a girl wearing a white t-shirt surrounded by 8 other girls. The 8 girls were crazily biting and gnawing the white t-shirt girl. Fresh blood stained her clothes. The girl was constantly struggling and screaming, but there was no way to escape. Why is this happening? Seeing the horribly frightening scene in the distance, the inside of Yue Zhong felt like a storm. He immediately put on the binoculars to look over there. Through the binoculars, Yue Zhong can clearly see the situation. The 8 girls were attacking the white t-shirt girl, their eyes without spirit. They were like mad beasts biting at her body, constantly tearing chunks of fresh meat and swallowing it. The sense was so gruesome, it made Yue Zhong feel nauseous and overwhelmed with fear. Though in his heart he was afraid, he tried to calmly observe. The 8 girls were still biting the white t-shirt girl's tattered body. Her body was full of flesh wounds, with many missing chunks. After they finished, they stopped biting, and spread out, wandering aimlessly. Their walking speed was somewhat slow, much less than the average person, but they moved in groups. If you were surrounded, there would be basically no possibility for survival. Yue Zhong looked at the slow girls while thinking, is this Resident Evil? His eyes turned white. With mouths still covered with human blood, they looked so terrifying. He suddenly had a thought. These girls were acting just like the zombies in Resident Evil. Yue Zhong's conjecture was soon verified. The white t-shirt girl, who had lost her vitality and was bitten beyond recognition, slowly picked herself up off the floor. With both of her eyes deathly white, she staggered aimlessly around the street. It's bad. Zombies. Yue Zhong was cold inside. If it was really like he thought, with the entire campus full of zombies, it would be hard for him to survive. Suddenly, the sound of loud knocking came at the door. Danger. Zombies. Yue Zhong, who was shaking on the inside, immediately pushed a wooden computer desk towards the door to block the door. Accompanied by a clicking sound, the thin wooden door shattered, 2 claws pierced through the door. So much power. Yue Zhong, who was scared, backed away. Yunhua University dorm room doors were flimsy and wooden, but for ordinary people, to pierce through the door without the help of any tool was not possible. The zombies' powers were far beyond Yue Zhong's imagination. The 2 claws which pierced through the door were insistently shaking, and at the same time there was the sound of the door being pushed. Yue Zhong, eyes flashing, while gritting his teeth and overcoming his fears, walked towards the door. He used his novice staff to chop at the 2 limbs. Yue Zhong attacked more than 10 times before he was able to cut off the end of the zombie's claws. Its 2 arms were then withdrawn. The moment that the zombie arms were cut off, it was accompanied by a loud noise. The thin wooden door was then smashed through by a head with a big hole and white eyes. A short-haired zombie that was a student had stuck his head in, constantly struggling toward Yue Zhong. Yue Zhong recognized at a glance that the zombie in front of him was a member of the school soccer team. He was a classmate that lived next door to him. Su Zheng, they were acquaintances, and just 20 minutes ago, they were chatting. He didn't expect that 20 minutes later, Su Zheng would become a zombie. I'm sorry, I want to live. Looking at the struggling zombie, Yue Zhong's eyes flashed with a complex light. He grit his teeth and while holding the novice staff above his head, he smashed down on it with all his strength. Under Yue Zhong's full blow, Su Zheng's zombie head was cut and twisted, tilting to the side. Almost at the same time, a little black book and a black coin came out of Su Zheng's body and fell within the vicinity of Yue Zhong's reach. A white light that was invisible to human eyes flew out from Su Zheng and into his own. Yue Zhong, sharp-eyed, came forward to that little black book and black coin and picked them up. Then he took a few steps back. Level 3 Skill Book, Summon a Special Skeleton. Description: consumes 10 MP, summons a special skeleton from the world of the dead to fight for you. Special skeleton's initial level is 1, with 6 initial properties of 10, 10, 10, 10 tenths, 10, 180/180. Cooldown is 10 days. Would you like to learn the skill? When Yue Zhong took the little black book, a strange sense of information quickly flowed into his mind. He immediately made the choice, learn immediately. Before reaching level 30, you can only learn 3 active skills. Are you sure you want to learn the skill, summon a special skeleton? Yes. Yue Zhong selected the option without hesitation. Currently he was only worried about being able to survive. In order to progress into the future, he could not worry about using up the skill slots. Right now just gaining any bit of strength was good. Those zombies have great strength. Being able to destroy the wooden door, he felt that hiding inside the dormitory was not safe. Yue Zhong must obtain the strength to live. He will worry about other stuff later. Right at this moment, the level 3 skill book, Summon a Special Skeleton, quickly disappeared into a black light and flowed into him between his eyebrows. Yue Zhong immediately considered his knowledge. In his mind, he touched a strange rune, and soon a sound prompted in his head. Summon a special skeleton. You need to consume 10 MP. Yes. He immediately made up his mind and activated the skill, Summon a Special Skeleton. The next moment, a bunch of mysterious incantations suddenly blurted out from his mouth. Emptiness. A giant cave appeared out of nowhere. The cave's atmosphere exudes endless death, with its scent in the air. Meanwhile, Yue Zhong felt a slight pain in his head. As a mysterious force passed through, his head felt a bit dizzy. Then a skeleton left with only bones slowly walked out from the cave. It was surrounded with a black mist, with two eyes flashing with magical flames. A strange human-like skeleton came out from the world of the death. Yue Zhong had a feeling of connection with it. Special Skeleton Level 1. Strength, 10, 10. Agility, 10, 10. Vitality, 10, 10. Stamina, 10 tenths, 10. Spirit, 10, 10. Endurance, 5, 10. Have skills, utilizing Bone's ability. A black light flashed, lasting about 30 seconds. Special Skeleton took a bone axe from the zombie's body, measuring 1.2 meters long, holding it in its hand. After the bone axe was taken from the zombie's body, it turned into a puddle, full of putrid black pus and blood. Yue Zhong watched Special Skeleton, pointing to a wooden computer next to him and said, "Cut off the table." Special Skeleton used the bone axe to chop down on the computer desk. An audible splitting sound, the wooden computer desk was split apart with one strike. Amazing. Looking at that wooden computer desk split in half, Yue Zhong was happy on the inside. To have such a powerful undead guardian, his chances to survive had increased. After testing the destructive power of Special Skeleton, Yue Zhong picked up the black coin and carefully inspected it. 1 survival coin. Yue Zhong took the coin and received such a message. Although Yue Zhong did not know the worth of this survival coin, Yue Zhong still carefully put it into his pocket. At this moment, from outside the door, came the sound of a fierce collision. A claw abruptly pierced through the wooden door, shaking it non-stop. Between several breaths, the door burst open. 4 zombies with white eyes shoved at the door and crawled inside the dorm room. There was a shattering sound. Yue Zhong looked outside and saw that a window was smashed by a zombie. From outside, the zombie tried to squeeze inside through the window. Yue Zhong looked at the wooden door that was smashed by the zombies, with a wry smile, called out an order for Special Skeleton. The school had to minimize cost, but they shouldn't have saved money on the dorm construction. This is shoddy construction. Special Skeleton, kill those zombies that came in. Special Skeleton received the command of Yue Zhong, took a stride forward, and struck a blow towards the zombie's head, splitting and sending the head flying, foul blood splattering everywhere. Almost at the same time, 3 zombies rushed forward together holding Special Skeleton, while pulling and biting. Bones of Special Skeleton were ripped off by the 3 zombies one by one. Its HP continued to drop. Special Skeleton's axe-holding right hand was firmly held by the zombie, unable to move. Special Skeleton and 3 zombies tried to squeeze through the narrow door. Yue Zhong stepped forward, holding the stick and striking the zombie's head. The head of the zombie holding Special Skeleton's right arm with the axe was smashed to the side, its head twisted. A group of white light from the zombies' bodies flew into Yue Zhong's body. Special Skeleton's right arm with the axe was free. Immediately wielding the axe, the head of the zombie was cut off. Like it could smell the taste of the living, the body of the zombie holding Special Skeleton released its grip. Yue Zhong climbed over. Yue Zhong looked at the zombie's white eyes. A chunk of flesh was bitten off the face. The zombie's open mouth was full of blood. he took a step backward. These zombies are extremely dangerous. In a fight with it, just a scratch will turn you into their kind. If not necessary, Yue Zhong did not want to fight up close with these monsters. At this moment the other zombie that broke through the window had entered the dorm and staggered towards Yue Zhong. Beyond the door, two zombies climb in from the hole into the room. As if it was sensitive to Yue Zhong, Special Skeleton, still fighting the zombie on the ground, suddenly used his hand to grab the zombie advancing forward. The zombie advancing toward Yue Zhong immediately fell to the ground. Yue Zhong raised the novice staff, striking the zombie's head, causing the zombie to twist to one side. A ball of white light quickly entered Yue Zhong's body. You have advanced to level 2, you have earned 2 points, please distribute the points. The ball of white light had just entered Yue Zhong's body, when the idea immediately sounded in Yue Zhong's mind. Distribute to strength and stamina. Yue Zhong immediately said. Fighting the zombies had consumed more stamina, far beyond what Yue Zhong had imagined. He only dealt with 3 zombies, but his stamina had dropped from 8 points to 3 points. In order to fully chop the zombie's head off, he had to use a lot of effort. Just after a couple breaths, there was a warmth flowing through his body. He vaguely felt his strength increase a bit. His stamina had started to recover. Congratulations, you survived and destroyed the monsters. The God and Devil world will award you with a basic skill. Please select a skill. Skill 1, Eyes of Perception, can discern the information of monsters up to 5 level higher. Skill 2, Language Proficiency, allows you to easily master the language of any country. Listening, speaking, and writing are no obstacle. These spells do not occupy one of the 3 active skill slots. Yue Zhong, without any hesitation, immediately made a choice. I choose Eyes of Perception. A light flashed, it quickly condensed and formed a bronze-colored rune inside his mind. He concentrated and utilized Eyes of Perception, looking at the zombie. Preliminary Infection Level 1, these are being eroded from the infection of the virus, leaving only the desire for flesh and blood. Viral Infection Skill, as long as there is a cut on the skin, the virus will infect. Depending on a person's constitution, between 3 to 10 minutes, the body will be infected with preliminary infection. Beside the 3 treatment fluids, with the medical standards of this world, for at least a decade it is incurable. Sure enough. Yue Zhong's eyes thicken, even somewhat more afraid of those zombies. The remaining 2 zombies staggered towards Yue Zhong. Special Skeleton wielded his large axe and cleaved. A zombie's head was cut off and sent flying. The other zombie lunged towards Special Skeleton, and with a vicious grip, ripped off a bone from the chest of Special Skeleton. Yue Zhong took the opportunity to step forward, using the stick to strike at the zombie's head, smashing the zombie's head. What is this? After receiving the Eyes of Perception, Yue Zhong can now see a ball of white light fly out from the zombie's body and into his body. Could it be that this is what is causing my body to grow stronger? Yue Zhong stared at the ball of white light and speculated. There is no information, so Yue Zhong put this question aside, looking at Special Skeleton and summoned him. Special Skeleton, White Bones, Level 2. Power, 11/10. Agility, 11/10. Vitality, 11/10. Stamina, 9/11/10. Spirit, 11/10. Strength, 6/10. Have skills, utilizing Bones ability. Amazing. Yue Zhong looked at White Bone's stats, it made him excited. White Bone's growth rate was higher than Yue Zhong, its attributes increased by 6 points from just 1 level. Compared to an average person, it was now 10% higher. With such a powerful ally, his chances of survival has increased by a bit. Without hesitation, tolerating the stench coming from the corpses, it strongly pushed the computer desk, blankets, and pillow in the room to block the door and window. Even though it cannot withstand the zombies' attack, it can still delay them. Level 1 zombies, besides being strong, they have a very obvious weakness, which is their slow movements. If you did not encounter multiple zombies, with just a long weapon, even ordinary people can deal with them. But if surrounded by 10 zombies, you will surely die. Blocking the door, Yue Zhong let out a sigh of relief in this stench-filled room. The earlier experience made it difficult to accept. If he didn't receive the skill to summon white bones, at this time he would have become a zombie. A zombie in such a confined environment, Yue Zhong still had difficulty dealing with it. Attacked by 3 zombies, he would simply be overwhelmed. After a slight sigh of relief, Yue Zhong immediately rummaged through the dorm to find resources he could use. He soon found a bundle of mountain climbing ropes, a mountaineering backpack, 4 packs of instant noodle, a half-eaten bag of custard pie. With the narrow room, taking advantage of the terrain, Yue Zhong and White Bones working together were able to deal with the zombies. However, there is a key issue. This boys' dormitory has 8 floors, each floor has 20 dorm rooms, each room has 12 people inside, a total of 1,920 boys living there. Although it was Sunday and a large numbers of people went out, the ones that stayed still numbered more than 600 people. Even if 1/3 of these people became zombies, it would be terrifying. The most important point is that the dorm rooms didn't have much food or water supplies. Yue Zhong did not know if the water system had been infected or not. Other than his water bottle, he dared not to drink anything else. Yue Zhong quickly tied the rope to the bed, then threw the climbing rope outside the window. Seeing that the climbing rope landed, Yue Zhong then pulled over and sat on the seat. Took out binoculars to look out, observing the situation outside. White Bones was right beside watching over him. At this time it looked as though the whole school was in a frenzy. Some students rushed out of the dormitory, following in their wake were staggering zombies. Many students had a bandage wound on their body, with a look of pain, apparently injured. A boy running did not pay attention to what was under his feet. After passing a corpse, all of a sudden, the corpse grabbed his leg, causing him to stumble. He quickly fell to the ground. "Zhang Ming, save me." With a terrifying look on his face, he looked at his friend in front and shouted. Zhang Ming looked back and saw that behind the boy were the zombies. With eyes full of fear, he turned around and fled without looking back. "Zhang Ming. Zhou Feng. Help. Save me." That frightened boy screamed loudly. Zhou Feng, 1.8 meters tall, heard the boy's anguished voice, and hesitated for a moment. He turned around and glanced back, and only saw 8 zombies attacking the boy on the ground. Crazily being bitten, only the boy's wailing voice could be heard. Zhou Feng, seeing this scene, was so scared that his leg went limp. He then didn't look back, and faced forward and fled. The 8 zombies were gnawing on the boy's body. Soon the boy's cries disappeared. The rest of the boys crazily fled outside. At this point the entire campus has become a mass of chaos. Students everywhere are frightened and running away from the zombies chasing them. There were not many people on the street, but all of a sudden there were a lot of students and a large number of zombies. From time to time there were students whose bodies twitched, then suddenly fell to the ground. When they stood up again, they had turned into zombies. The campus was filled with an atmosphere of panic. Yue Zhong was watching everything below. He was shaking on the inside. At this time on the streets below, the zombies were attracted by the students, running around everywhere. On the street leading to the small supermarket on campus, there are 20 zombies standing there on the street, blocking the way to the small supermarket and the way outside the school. 6 boys from the dormitory saw that the zombies were blocking the street leading to the gate. As if they could feel the life force, 6 zombies promptly turned and walked towards the boys. The street to the school was not very wide, with 6 zombies already having the street almost entirely blocked, only leaving a small gap. 8 zombies behind the boys had just finished eating and staggered towards the 6 people. At this time there were zombies in front and behind, blocking the way. At this critical moment, 2 boys with a look of horror, loudly shouting, rushed toward the zombies in front. Each of them, armed with a novice stick, stabbed a zombie each. Each zombie was knocked to the ground. A student took the chance to go through the gap. He was then blocked after a bit, a step too late. A big hand stretched out and firmly grabbed his arm. No. Help! Help! The student, in a panic, used his novice stick to hit the zombie, cutting off the arm of the zombie. The 3 remaining zombies took this chance to grab him, and opened their jaws to bite hard on his neck. Ah! Help! The student immediately let a sharp scream. The 3 zombies, firmly holding the student, began eating him bloodily. The 2 remaining zombies were attracted by the smell of blood. They headed towards the student's body, lunged forward and began biting his body. The other student ran past the zombies, not too far. He was soon surrounded by the zombies, submerged in dead corpses. He let out a miserable moan. The remaining 4 students witnessed the scene, eyes filled with terror. We're done. One student was so scared and collapsed on the ground. Up the tree. A relatively calm tall boy, he looked at the surroundings, and quickly crawled up the side of a tree. In the main campus of the University of Yue Zhong, there are trees and plants planted everywhere. The other 2 boys also had deft hands and feet and headed toward the trees and started climbing. Save me! Chen Gang! Give me a hand! The boy that was paralyzed on the floor, under his survival instincts, stood up. Seeing the other 3 climbing the tree, he let out a shout. He did not know how to climb trees. Attracted to the scream of the boy, the zombies within 100 meters slightly shook, and began to move toward the sound. Over 10 zombies that formed an army was sufficient to tear any resistance in the university.